Greg Lunt, one of the quant all-stars, if you will. So this is breaking news. Check this out. It says the Bank of International Settlements. You're always hearing Crypto Lulu, who, let's face it, he mainly covers XRP, but he's into some of these other ones as well. He's always talking about the Bank of International Settlements. So why does it matter? Why do we pay attention to it? Well, specifically, listen to this. We have already drawn the quant connection to the likes of CBDCs, whether it's for, the UK, heck, what they're doing here in the United States, especially, let's face it, Latin America as well, right? Quant definitely stands out. But listen to this. In coordination with the Bank of England, the Bank of International Settlements is moving to phase 2 of their quote-unquote UK CBDC API project. And we already talked about, for instance, just that. Quant's connection to specifically various different payment APIs. I mean, literally, you can think of all the main ones that are out there, whether it's, Amazon Web Services, PayPal, some of these other ones, right? I mean, literally at every single turn of the corner, you could draw that connection with Quant. So now add another one to it, right? The UK CBDC API project. If you're not convinced Quant is involved here, you're simply not paying attention. And if anything, if you guys have been following us, especially on a recorded section where a lot of you guys came from originally and did the jump to the live, which by the way, we appreciate that. We have already drawn that connection of Quant to CBDCs, and especially when it comes to the UK CBDC, especially with Gilbert Verdian having, for instance, one of his friends who ended up being what? Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister of the UK. So we're going to jump into this for just a brief moment. And it says specifically from Blockchain for Banking, main news headlines, UK CBDC API project invites participants for the next phase. And that's good. You want to see this because anything is not, something which they just want to, jump into it without doing a little bit more testing, right? Kind of like in crypto, right? You have test nets, you have main nets, and so on. So look at this. It says the Bank of International Settlements, who is the BIS, has invited organizations to apply to participate in the second phase of Project Rosalind. And of course, Crypto Lulu talks specifically about, for instance, Project Rosalind. I did a little bit of coverage in regards to Project Hamilton, if you remember some of these particular deep dives. But, it's important to understand where we're going with this. So it says the joint initiative with the Bank of England to develop an API for retail central bank digital currency, that is already going on in regards to Project Rosalind. So applications close on February 10th, which is just right around the corner, and there will be a tech sprint through March. It's more than a coincidence if you think about it, with everything coming up with ISO 222. A tech sprint through March. It doesn't say a tech sprint through May or June or anything like that. Why? Because if anything, by summer, watch out for the likes of Quant. Quant is really going to stand out for CBDCs by summer. We're talking about June, maybe July at the latest. But the consistent pattern has been mentioned multiple times for summer. All right, a little bit more in regards to this. So here it comes straight from the Bank of International Settlements. Mentions Project Rosalind Phase 2, Tech Sprint, supplementary information. If you're wondering what Project Rosalind is, we'll just give you the quick gist. So it says Project Rosalind aims to develop prototypes of an API platform to distribution retail CBDCs. And it's just that. It is purely experimental, but it's the key is having these organizations come in, onboarding them and so on, getting past the test net phase, and then having it become quote unquote mainnet, but not just mainnet, where we have, for instance, the implementation period and actually roll out a real CBDC by summer of this year. That's one of the key things, right? So get more into it. It says that specifically, this API could be best to enable a central bank ledger to interact with payment interface providers, which are PIPs, or PIPs, I should say. It will also explore some of the functionalities that require to enable a diverse and innovative set of use cases to be developed by the private sector. So this is good. You like the idea that you have, for instance, Gilbert Verdian of Quant, who has outlined in the past that when they do a CBDC for the UK, it's not just going to be something in which is not tied, for instance, to the likes of blockchain technology and so on. He gets it. And obviously he does. He's from Quant. We're talking about the overledger, the operating system. So what is going to be entailed with this? What are they going to be able to bring as far as that scope? Well, here's the particular answer. It says the project aims, listen to this, to explore interoperability, well, obviously quant connection between different systems and different forms of money. So for instance, you have privacy, the FAPI, ISO 222, right? We're talking about that messaging system, why it's important, not just for speed, but also because of security. Account based versus token based. The project will not explore resilience, performance, cybersecurity, throughput efficiency, and so on, and not just some of these. It's a lot of them. That's actually a typo, but I was going to state it's really something else. Glad that Greg Lunt covered this a little bit more. There's more of a deeper dive into it. You can actually go straight to this right here. This is more of the full detail version from Project Rosalind, and it breaks it down from a scope of January 2023, dating all the way back to June, I should say, 2022. And for instance, you see that they have this right here. It says based on two-tier distribution model, central bank and the foundation of the retail CBDC system and customer-facing activities carried out by the private sector. The objective is to explore how this interface could best enable central bank ledger to interact with the private sector service providers to safely provision retail payments. And again, that's one of the main key takeaways. Another thing I'm going to mention before we kick it back in the comments is it will also explore some functionalities required to enable a diverse and innovative set of use cases to be developed by the private sector. So it's good to see this. We'll follow this a little bit more. I think it's more than a coincidence that they're trying to fast track this by March because of ISO 222 coming out on March 20th. So glad to share that with you guys.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor and subscribe for more information on the ISO 222 compliant tokens, and hit the notification bell to make sure that you are aware of the new videos when they come up. Max and I cover these ISOs, and we also have a live show every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in for that. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again, and we will see you on the next video.